Welcome to Offline Broadway. This is the first podcast of this hopefully ongoing series, and for this first episode we have a very, very special guest. She is the CEO of the amazing, and I will be buying one very soon, Broadway Goes Pop. It's Amber Kempter. Hi Amber, how you doing?
Hi, I'm good. Excited to be the first guest on the podcast.
Well, I'm honestly, because when I first thought of having this podcast, I thought I want Amber as my first guest because she's huge on Facebook, and and your pops are everywhere, so I have to have you on.
Oh, that's so awesome. I truly am honored to be the first guest.
Thank you. Hopefully this I will mess this up, guaranteed. I will mess it up in some way. I'll fall off my chair or my laptop will break down. Something is going to happen. But
you know what? I think that makes for the best listening.
Exactly. You know what? As long as people listening to this, if you are listening to this on your way to work or on the train or just at home, I hope you enjoy listening and we keep this going. So this is just going to be a real relaxed sort of podcast, Amber, really. Nothing too challenging and question. It's not like a job interview. So
that's good.
I just have a first question for you. So what inspired you to start Broadway Goes Pop, and how did it come to life?
Sure. So a couple years ago, I got obsessed with Hamilton, just like about everybody else. And I was aware of the Funko Pop dolls, and I was like, oh, I wonder if they made Hamilton Funko Pop dolls. So I did a Google search and realized quickly that they had not. And in amongst that search, discovered that people customize pops. And I was like, oh, that's so fun. That's so cool. I want to try that because I've always been very artistic and love to have a fun, side project going on, just something for a creative outlet. So I did a lot of research. I watched a lot of YouTube videos. I just kind of explored the idea, and it took me quite a while before I actually sat down to do it. But I gathered my materials, and I literally sat on my living room floor and created the first one, which was what I call Green Coat Hamilton, and loved how he came out.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Thank you. Loved how he turned out, and it was super fun to do. And so I posted a picture of him, and there's a rather large Hamilton fan group on Facebook. And back then it was I think it was around 15,000. Now it's almost 70,000, I think. But back then it was quite a bit smaller. And I posted a picture in there, and people went crazy. And everyone said, I would totally buy that. You should sell these. How did you do that? This is crazy. And I started thinking well, maybe I could sell these, as a side thing for a little extra money, because at the time I was working full time at an insurance company, and I'm also a mother of 3. So I have, very little free time, but I thought maybe that would be something I could do just to make a little extra money on the side. Yeah. And so I, with that in mind, decided to start my own Facebook group, which back then was called Hamil Funko Pops. And, people slowly started joining the group, and it took me a bit to get to where I wanted to sell, but I started selling, just a few at a time, and it really just took off so quickly. And it got to the point where I could no longer keep up with working full time and doing Broadway Goes Pop. Well, it wasn't Broadway Goes Pop back then, but what became Broadway Goes Pop.
Yeah.
I discovered that there was no way I could do both and be a mom to my kids. And one of those 3 things had to go. Obviously, being a mom couldn't be one of those things. So it either had to be my real job or my fun job. So I sat down with my dad and my mom, and we, really dug through my finances and my pay stubs, and we're trying to figure out if Broadway Goes Pop was enough to, support my family. So we realized that, I think it could work. And so literally the next day I went and gave my 2 weeks at my job. And, that was about 6 months after I started the first pop. So I quit my job, my real full-time, very stable, with lots of great benefits, with a great boss and great coworkers. And
what was your first job? Can I ask?
Say that again.
What was your previous job?
Oh, I worked in the underwriting department at an insurance
Oh wow.
company.
Okay.
Yeah. So nothing related in any way. Um, and it was a really good job. I had the most amazing boss in the world, and I had great coworkers, and
Mm.
it was a really good job. So it was a hard leap to make. It really was. But at the same time, I was like, this is so fun for me, and it's fulfilling two passions, my passion for art and my passion for theater. So I, like I said, I gave my 2 weeks, and then it just kind of went from there, and it's just grown into this crazy thing I never ever expected when I sat down to make that pop in my living room. That really truly was just for fun. I didn't set out to create a business or anything. So, and now it's been about 2 years since I quit my real job, quote unquote real job, and yeah, it's still going strong, and
It is. It absolutely
it's
is. Yeah.
even better than I would have ever expected, honestly.
Like
So,
I haven't bought one yet, but I am going to, because your website is actually bookmarked on my Chrome,
oh,
and
awesome.
I am still waiting to actually buy one. But you said at first you got obsessed with Hamilton. I'm obsessed
I
with that
did.
too. That is my favorite show. Like
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
obsessed
me
with it.
too.
I'm seeing it
Yeah.
in March for the second time, and I'm so excited.
Oh,
Um,
it's one of those shows that you have to see more than once. You truly
Absolutely.
do, because
Like
there's so much going on. I've seen it 7 times, and I will honestly see it 7 more, because there's so much to pick through when you watch it, and
it's
there's so much
so
going on.
layered.
Yes, and
It's
like it took me like 3 times to even realize all the people that are always on stage. I didn't, because I was paying attention to what was happening in the main space.
But then it's like
But then
what the
there's
ensemble's
it's
doing, or
yeah,
yeah.
or even like, sometimes you'll look up and Angelica's chilling up on the top layer of the set, and it's like, whoa, I didn't realize she was standing there at this time. Like she's just up there watching.
Yeah, like,
And
I've only seen
yeah.
it once, but I'm seeing it for the second time in March, and I'm buying
Uh-huh.
tickets for like September time. So I obviously I am going to be seeing this a lot, because I first listened to the soundtrack in like 2016, late
Hmm.
2016, and
Yeah.
I was instantly hooked on it, like
Yes,
straight
same
away.
for me. Yeah, I was a late bloomer for Hamilton. Like it was shortly before Lynn left the show was when I
Yeah,
started listening. So I was kind of late to the game.
because in
But
America it kind of it caught on like quite fast, like over
yes.
there, because
Yeah.
like here it's like I listened to it from a recommendation from a friend who was like musical obsessed. Like
Yeah.
before Hamilton, I did like musicals. I loved Chicago and Hairspray, but like the films,
Mhm.
and
Right.
I'd seen like a few shows. But then I listened to Hamilton, and then suddenly I started Geek Chat and all that. Like I'm like show obsessed. Um,
Yeah.
but Hamilton only is now catching on here because it's now in the West End. But
Sure.
it started December 2017, but now it's getting bigger and bigger here. But in
Mhm.
America, it's massive there still.
Oh,
You know,
yeah, huge, huge. Like when the tickets go on sales, there's like 20,000 or more people waiting in line to buy the tickets, on the tour. It's just crazy.
I bet.
And I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon at all. The craze is still
Absolutely
very much there. I just saw it, like I said, for the seventh time
lucky.
in January. And I mean, the audience was still just as excited as they were, back when I saw it the first time,
Mm.
So um, it's such a phenomenon, and I'm so glad to be just like this little tiny itty bitty part of it, that
Exactly,
and
because
it's like it was like what changed my life, which is so cool. Um, and
because
I just can't say enough good things about the show.
no, exactly. But with your pops, I think I saw you post a few months back. It was like this time 3 years ago, or like 2 years back. Lin Manuel tweeted a photo of a Funko Pop that you made for him.
Yes.
That's what I saw?
Yeah.
Good. Like,
I made a little collage of all the different versions of Lynn that I've made. So I had made like a few different versions of Hamilton, and then I've got my gray sweater Lynn, and then a couple other different versions of Lynn, and Usnavi from In the Heights, a
I
couple
love
different
In the
versions
Heights
of
too.
Lynn. Yeah.
Oh.
that people have requested. So I just made a little collage of all of them and I posted it on Twitter, and enough people tagged him or commented that he saw it and he retweeted me, and that day was the most insane day of my life.
I would have
Literally
jumped out of
my
my
group.
seat.
Yeah.
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
not only that, but people were joining Broadway Goes Pop left and right. We literally gained 1,000 members overnight. And at the time, it was only me that was approving people. So, like, I would go in and there would be 150 requests to join the group.
Oh
And
my
I'd
God.
be like, I was like, so I grabbed a friend, Laura, and I was like, hey, can I make you a moderator to help me with this onslaught of people that are joining the group? Because I can't keep up. And so she joined as a moderator because, like I said, back then it was just me. I was the one taking care of everything.
With
And
1,000 different member requests,
yeah,
just trying to accept
right.
every single one.
Yes, yes. And so that was really good. It was really crazy. And it was like, I don't use Twitter a lot. So to have that many notifications on Twitter was crazy. It was just like I'd open Twitter and it was like all these comments and likes. And I like I said, I don't use it very much. I mostly just, retweet, political things and that kind of stuff. But it was a nutty day, but a really cool day at the same time, because it was like, oh, I've been noticed by Lynn. It was really, really neat for sure.
Yeah, like the Facebook group, I think it is, because I'm part of like several like theatre groups on Facebook.
Yeah.
I think Broadway Goes 12, honestly, I think it's just the friendliest group on Facebook. Like,
I agree.
I see all of these comments because, as you know, like most of the listeners will know, I run a geek chat, and I do plague your group occasionally with like some of the memes that I make and I create, and I have to thank you for that. So
yeah,
for letting me share.
They're awesome memes. I share away.
Because the way I see it is, it gets more like a conversation on your group, and then my page gets a bit more view. But I see
absolutely,
like, because on my page there's like a lot of public comments which like, oh, theatre's shit or something like that, and it's just like, just go away. But then on Broadway's but then on your group, it's all just like a community.
Yeah, honestly, like, I'm very proud of what I've created, but the group is like basically one of the things I'm most proud of, is what has come of just creating that group. I didn't set out to make this Broadway community, it just kind of happened. And I truly, like, with everything in me, believe that it's the best group on Facebook.
It is.
With everything in me. Everybody is so supportive of me and of each other. There was a time when a group member was having a hard, just a hard time in their life, and we banded together and raised money for him. And
That's
it was
amazing.
just people just giving their money to this stranger that they've never met. And or we did a fundraiser for Puerto Rico, after the hurricanes, and we raised, like, I can't remember how much we raised, but it was like $2,000 in like 2 days, and
that's outstanding. Wow.
Yeah.
See, that says everything about the group. That says everything about it.
It really does. And there's so many times where people will post that they're having, a crappy day, and people are just so supportive of people that they don't know. And the other thing that's really cool is there's so many real life friendships that have formed because of the group. I see people all the time that have now, gone to shows together, or they've literally flown to another city to hang out with their new friend that they met from the group. And I myself have tons of new friends because of the group. And it's just,
wow.
It's so neat, because I will say, in my quote unquote real life, I don't really have a lot of theater friends. I don't have a lot of people that are, theater obsessed like I am.
Same here.
Aside from my kids, that's about it.
Like, I'm the exact same. Like, I study music at a university, and everyone on my course, apart from like 2 others, they'd like heavy like metal rock, so like AC/DC, Black Sunshine, all this stuff that I hate with a burning passion. And so they're all like standing in one corner in black with like all their beards and like just like black long hair, and then there's me. Hey, have you let's listen to Waitress. Like, like, it's just not happening with them at all. So like that's why I started a geek chat, and then like your group, it is a real way to just, let your theatre geek out, in a sense.
It really is. It's like having this family of 14,000 people that love the same things that I do. And the other thing I think is great is I can, head in there and ask the most random questions. I don't know if you've seen lately. I'm like, "Hey, does anyone have a good air purifier that I could buy?"
I
Just
saw that
the
one.
most
Yeah, I
yeah,
saw that. Yeah.
the most random of questions, but everybody's really supportive and they're like, "Here's a good air purifier to buy." So it's not, it's the theater family is amazing, but it really is just it's just a family, and I
Yeah.
consider them. I'm like fiercely protective of everybody in there. Like, don't you say something bad about my friend.
Yeah,
I'm just,
I saw you post at some like last week. Someone was like taking photos of
yeah.
posts in this group and then mocking them on a different group.
Yep. Yep. And I will tell you, when I found that out, I literally couldn't sleep because I was like, somebody did that to somebody in my family. And I'm like, no, this isn't going to happen. I'm sorry.
To I
So,
to me, the first
yeah.
thing I think is get a life for a start,
Uh-huh.
and then
Yeah,
secondly,
for sure.
you must have something better to do than just
I
insult
know.
innocent people discussing their passion. Like, I don't get it.
Right. I know. I agree. I
And
think it's so sad. It's like, do you not have anything better to do with your life? Like, go get a different job or
oh, I
something.
know,
Like,
just
get a hobby
get
that's
out of your
not
mum's
bashing people
basement.
online.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't understand. I will never understand that.
it's the
And
internet
that's one
though.
of the things.
It'll never
Yeah.
go away. It'll always happen.
I
But
yeah. And that's the thing I love about Broadway Goes Pop is like we just don't allow that social media toxicity that you see everywhere. And I think that um myself and the moderators are very on top of all of that. If we see a comment thread going bad, one of us jumps in and we're like, nope. And the other
yeah,
thing that's amazing is that the group members do that too. They'll tag one of us and be like, listen, looks like this is about to go bad, because it's just not what we want in the
no,
group. It's just,
it's a safe,
and
fun-loving
maybe
community.
sometimes we're a little over the top, but I honestly, that's just how it's going to be because
I disagree
I
though.
want to,
I don't think it is
yeah.
over the top because like I'm like apart from a theatre geek, I love superhero films and Game of Thrones, so I'm part of those different groups too. And if you see the
Uh-huh.
difference between like a DC Comics group and a theatre group, in DC
Uh-huh.
there could be like a Wonder Woman like movie poster post. There'd be so many sexist, arrogant comments in there.
Oh, yeah.
None of them are actually taken off. Those are just there, and people they're laughing along with it. And then
Uh-huh.
so I think you aren't being dramatic about it. I think if you get rid of like a certain person who is like starting like a row, that'll never
Uh-huh.
happen because like in like different groups, it's just constant. There's like no
Yeah.
niceness in there really. So
Right, right.
I don't think
So
you are being that
and
dramatic.
yeah, that's why we're like that, because we just don't want our group to turn into that, because we've worked really hard for it to be, this way. And here's the other thing. We really have like very few rules in the group. There's just a few. And it's like it's really not that hard to just be nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Like just be nice and don't be a garbage person and post things that are nice and supportive. And it's okay to disagree. Of course, we have conversations about many different things going on. So everybody likes a different piece of theater. So we've got, I
Exactly.
like this, I don't like this because of that. And I think that's obviously fine. That's what art is. But there's a way to discuss it that's God, what's the word I want? I'm
Civil.
totally losing it. Yes, a civil way to talk about that's respectful of each other.
Yeah,
You can discuss something without being a garbage person and
exactly.
being rude. And the other thing we never talk about is bootlegs, because nobody can talk about that without it becoming a really terrible conversation. So we've actually just outlawed bootleg conversations. As soon as it comes up, we delete the comments, because it's such a controversial topic in the theater community,
Yeah,
and
it is.
everybody has their opinion of it, and you're not going to change their opinion. So it's like one of those conversations that I feel like just goes round and round and round, and nothing ever comes of it. So we just said as a group, hey, let's just leave that one for another group. You can discuss that somewhere else,
That is
because
a good idea
it's
because
just
yeah.
like I said, everybody has their own opinion, and you're not going to change their mind with whatever you say, because truly they've probably read it somewhere else. Whatever your opinion is, they've read
Exactly.
it.
And I think
You know?
if you start talking about bootlegs, that could lead to someone posting a bootleg of a show
Exactly.
and coming from
Exactly.
someone who has had like a lot of copyright strikes on Facebook, if
Mm-hmm.
something like is posted in that like in your like in that group and then is striked, that like your group could be shut down for that. So
Right, exactly.
so
And that's kind of that's another reason we don't allow it, is because it tends to lead that way anyway. And it just, you can't have a civil conversation about it.
no,
It's kind of like discussing politics, honestly.
it's a very
Like,
two-sided
it's
issue.
very, you're usually either one way or the other. You're either for or against, and
Yeah,
it's just not going to be a productive conversation. So
not at all.
we just kind of made the, after we had one really bad, long, many comment, threads about it, the mod team and we were just like, what if we just eliminate that from the group? And there's lots of other places people can talk about it. We just decided this isn't it. This isn't the place. So it actually has worked out really well, and people are really pretty good about it, unless they don't know,
Yeah, like
then,
yeah,
and
I haven't seen any bootleg like talks on the
right,
page. So yeah, it
right. As
seems to be
soon as
fine
it
for them.
comes up, we shut it down. We're pretty good about, and I have an amazing moderator team. I have to give them a huge shout out, because they are incredible. They don't make any money from it. They just volunteer their time. I've become extremely close with all four of them, and they're amazing people, and they give up a lot of their free time to help me moderate the group, because obviously it's just me against 14,000 people. I can't do it alone. There's no way. So I can't read every comment thread and, be on top of all the things going on and all the member requests and everything. So
It's, it does
I'm
build up.
so, yeah, I'm so appreciative of them and everything they do for me. Um, and I like truly could not do it without them. There was like I said earlier, there was a time when I used to do it alone, and it was really hard. Excuse me. It was hard to keep on top of everything, and catch all of the, anything that was going awry in the comments of
Like
the
yeah,
threads, because
it is very
yeah,
tough because like on my Facebook page that I get so many like messages daily, just like of just people who just want to like talk about theatre, which I
yeah,
absolutely love. But
uh-huh,
I've there's like I don't know 32,000 followers on my page right now, so it is building up to like I can't respond to like everyone
right.
like straight away, and
Yeah, it's
like
hard.
I just do it by myself, but because I do enjoy it that way, but it's just trying to get the time to talk to everyone
Yeah,
because it's geek chat. I do want to chat to everyone, so but
right,
it's just
right, right.
I just feel bad if I can't respond to everyone at first because people they just want to just talk about theatre and Hamilton or Dear Evan Hansen or just
Hmm.
anything that they love. So back to what you said, how you left your main job that was like a steady
Uh-huh.
job. I think it's very inspiring to like hear how you took a real risk and that leap of leaving a very secure job with good benefits and then to
Hmm.
something by yourself essentially to
Yeah.
like by hand. But it's paid off really well. Like I will be buying a pop figure very soon. Do you know? Like I've had my eye on the Hamilton one and
Oh yeah.
the Evan Hansen one for a while. So,
Yeah.
but I think it's a very incredible story. It's
No,
actually
thank
probably
you.
film worthy at some point, to be honest. Like, or a stage show. You never know.
Yeah, there you go.
But so did the website come first, or was it the group that came first?
The group came first. The website's actually fairly new. I
Hmm.
actually when did I think that went live just this past fall is when the website went live. So I
Oh,
did
that's wow.
everything through the group for a really long time. And it got really, like, the pops are okay because it's usually only like six or so at a time, so it's not so much to send invoices and stuff. But when I started selling pins and stickers and magnets, it became very time consuming because there'd be 200 plus orders at a time.
See, that's the
So
big issue because like a pop figure is that's something that someone wants to save up for, and then like have but like
yes.
a pin or like a magnet, that's some oh yeah I'll just buy
Uh-huh.
that now. That's something
Right.
easy to buy.
Yes. Because that's what was happening. I took orders for pins on a Google document in the group, and they would just, it would transfer to a spreadsheet, and I would sit and send invoices for each and every order. So there were times where there was like 250 orders, and it would take me an entire day to send all the invoices. And then
Oh,
inevitably I would
that's
type
a
an
lot of
an
work.
email in wrong, so I'd have to, send it again, or, and I'd have to chase people down to pay me. And it was so time consuming. And then the shipping was also very time consuming with that method also. So I finally was just like, I'm going to look into the Shopify thing and see what I can do with, at least to sell the pins and the stickers and the magnets online, because this is crazy and it's just way too much work.
Yeah, a
And
printer order
so
from someone else is so much easier, I'm sure. Like,
yes,
because
yeah,
is it
yeah, it's
just out of
crazy time saver.
just a personal question for myself? You do a
Yeah,
worldwide shipping, yeah?
I do. Yep. Hmm.
Good. Thank you. Just wanted just to double check that.
Yeah.
But
When I first started, I did just the US. Like I had just one, I think it was like one round of orders where I did just US orders. And I decided, because I had a lot of international people in the group and they were so upset and I felt so bad. I was like, I'm sorry, I just don't know how to do it. I just didn't know how to do it. That was the thing. And I did some research and I was like, oh, it's actually not that big of a deal. Really, it's not. There's just a little bit of extra stuff to fill out the customs form, but it's really not any big deal. And of course, it's a little more expensive, but I've shipped to lots of different countries, and I think that's really cool to think of all my stuff being in, all these different countries. And I ship to the UK all the time, and Canada all the time, Australia. Those are the two, the three probably top, international countries that I ship to. But yeah, I'm glad that I made that leap. I actually remember the name. I won't call her out, but I remember the name of the first international package that I sent out. I still remember her name. Because I was nervous about it, because it was something I'd never done before. So I was nervous to try it, but it was actually really easy.
I think that also shows like how much you really care about making this stuff, and then actually hoping, making sure that everyone who orders one gets something really, really special. So
yes, yeah, I try.
Really cool.
I do, the different forms of sales in my group with the pops, because I want to make them as accessible as possible to as many people as possible. Sometimes obviously this is my business and this is how I feed my family, so I have to think of that as well. But at the same time, I feel badly when there's a college student who's like, oh, I can't afford that, and that makes me feel bad, because I wish that I could make one for everybody. I really, really do. If I could just take orders and make them for everybody, I would do it. But obviously I'm one person and I paint each and every one by hand. So, I don't have time to make 14,000 pops for everybody.
No,
so
that's the thing. But I think, because at the end, because it is a business.
Yes.
But I think at the forefront of that, it is more of a passion and more of a kind of, I don't know, it's more, I don't see it, because every time that I see like the website or something, I don't see it as like a business. I see it as it is like a homemade gift in a sense, because because as you said, you still know the person's name of that first worldwide shipment. So
right.
So it is a business, but it's much more than that.
It absolutely is more than that to me. I
think that's why people love it so much. So are there any, like, I don't know if you can say, or if like are you working on like any brand new pops? Because I've seen, like, if I just go to your website now, you have Dear Evan Hansen, you have Hamilton. What else do you have? Like theatre themed ones. I see Heathers. I love Heathers.
Yeah, so. There's for pins. There's all kinds of them. I've got lots of Waitress and Rent. Lots of Rent.
I see an Elder Price one here too.
Yep, Elder Price. I make a poll every month, or every time I'm going to do a new round of pins. I do a poll in the group to see what people are wanting, because I have ideas in my head, but I also want to do things that people want. Because every time I post new pins, someone says, when are you going to make this character? Because they want their favorite, musical theater character in a pin form. But at the same time, I have to make something that lots of people will want. So that's why I do the poll.
Or you can't have some ensemble member from some off-Broadway show that no one has ever heard of. That'll never work. So
it won't. So that's why I do the poll. But so that helps me having a direction. Now this last round, I created 14 new pins, because while I was in New York for Broadway Con, I was just like, I had just ideas swirling in my head, and that happens a lot. I'm sure that happens to many artists, where they just have ideas swirling around in their head and they need to get them out of their brain, and that's kind of how I was feeling. So I just kind of sat down and started designing, and I went a little crazy, a lot of them in one round, but I'm really excited about the new ones that are coming on. I'm actually just waiting for proofs right now so I can get them on the website. I'm still
Oh,
waiting for
brilliant.
that, but as soon as they're done, then they'll be for sale. It's taking a little longer than I expected, but
Really, like, are there any new characters that are like are coming soon, or like any new
yeah,
shows?
I'm really, really excited about The Prom.
Oh,
That show is incredible. If anyone listening is in New York and needs a new show to go see The Prom. It is so good. So, so good. I'm telling you, it's funny. It has an amazing message. The music is, I'm obsessed with the music. It's all I've listened to since I got back from New York. And it has an amazing message. The choreography is incredible. I am obsessed. So I do have a pin from that show with the two main characters that's coming out that I'm really, really excited about.
like,
Um,
I've never heard
so
of
yeah.
that. I've actually never heard of that. But with
Oh,
that, what you were saying about it, I've literally just added it to my Spotify list. So
yes.
I
Oh
got
my
something
gosh,
to
listen to
listen
it.
to tomorrow. So thank you
Yes,
very much for
it's,
that.
I mean, yeah, the music is incredible. The bad part about just the music is you don't get all the funny stuff that happens in between, obviously, but
I'm
the
sure.
music is still funny. But it's, oh my gosh, it's so good.
That's the thing,
I,
because I think with some
yeah,
shows like Hamilton, which is just music,
right. You get,
you understand the full story, but when you
right,
see it, you
right.
it is like enhanced. But with Heather's, say, I saw Heather's
Hmm.
October last year. I loved it, but listening to the music beforehand, I did know the
Uh-huh.
story, but I just didn't know everything. So seeing
Right,
it is the same
right.
with Dear Evan Hansen,
Yes,
for
I was just
example.
gonna say Dear Evan Hansen. I think that one is one of the ones that you would never have guessed the story just by
No,
listening to the
absolutely
music,
not. Like my friend,
like at all.
she introduced it to me, and then
Hmm.
I listened to the soundtrack to the music for like 2 months without even finding out the story, and then she read the other story to me, and I was like, that makes sense there, because I had no
Yeah,
clue what was going on. But
right. Yeah, I was
Dear
kind
Evan
of like that
Hansen,
too with Dear Evan Hansen.
yeah, because that is coming to London like this December, so I'm gonna
Oh,
be booking
awesome.
tickets. I'm so excited to see
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
Uh,
you're gonna love it. It's so good. Oh,
so.
it'll break your heart and you'll probably cry. I
I
sob
will.
my
I
face
will.
off
I
every time
cry.
I see
I
it.
cried in Hamilton. I cried at anything.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
fine.
I every time I've seen, actually, I've cried harder the more times I've seen Dear Evan Hansen. Um, it's almost worse. I don't know why. Maybe just because you know what's coming,
Because you're more
but
familiar with with the
I
character.
really identify with the moms in that show
Mm.
because they're just trying to do the best they can for their kids, and being a mom is like the hardest thing. And you truly don't know what the hell you're doing ever. Like, does anybody have a map? Is like exactly parenting. And
Yeah.
at the end, when she says that line about failing, and I have, and I will, and I do, that is parenting. Like, you always feel like you're failing 100% of the time. And like that, I cry every time during that song. During So Big So Small, I bawl my face off, like literally sobbing, like trying to like cover my mouth so that I don't make noises in the theater, because it just speaks to my heart so much.
Mm.
But it's such a good show. It's so good.
Like
And the music is just incredible.
the music is spectacular, and like because I introduced my mum to Hamilton, and she loved it, and she loves
Uh-huh.
the Greatest Showman too. She's
Oh
obsessed with
yeah,
that.
me too.
So I'm now getting into a Dear Evan Hansen, because it's by a Pasek and Paul. So with
Yeah.
the Evan Hansen book, I've read it. I absolutely love it. Have you read the book?
I haven't. I have it. I bought it, but I haven't read it yet.
Oh, good,
It's I
because that's fine. Because I was going to ask if there's like any a difference in like the book and the show, but
Oh,
honestly,
I have heard that it just digs a little deeper in the book than what you get in the show.
it's
Because
very very
there's
good
only
book.
so much you can fit into the 2.5 hours that you watch the show. So
Yeah,
I think you get a little more about Connor in the book
there
than you
is a
do
lot
in the
on Connor.
musical.
Like
Yeah,
it is a brilliant book. Like
yeah. I've
when you get
heard
a
that
chance to
of
sit
it.
down.
Like I said, I own it. I just haven't. I didn't never have time to read. So
I have so many books staring at me on my in
yeah,
front of me on my desk that I haven't even started yet,
yeah.
but which I've
I mean,
bought. So
years ago, I bought the whole Game of Thrones series, the books, and I haven't picked up one of them. I've watched all the shows, but I have not read the books at all. And I
I'm
want
literally
to. I
looking
just
at
never
all
have
of my
time.
books that are Game of Thrones. I've read the first three of them, but like I haven't even gotten to the other ones. Like
Yeah,
I've seen the show though, because the show's
yeah.
phenomenal.
Oh yeah, a
Oh my
great.
god.
I'm so excited for it to come back. Although it's only, then it'll be done. But I'm excited for it to be
Um,
to get to see the episodes we've been waiting for so long.
2 years. I'm ready to cry.
2 years. Yeah.
It's only six
I need to.
episodes, but they are
I
90
know.
minutes
Ugh.
each. They're like 90 minutes each, though. So,
Oh well, that's good.
but
But still,
I
but
would.
like I need it to
They
keep
should
going on
spread it
for
out.
more
They
years.
should just like cut those episodes up into 10 episodes, to be honest. But
I
yeah.
know. It would feel. I think it would feel better
Oh,
because I'm so sad that it's ending. I mean, I feel like it's probably good for them to go out on a high point, but at the same time, it's such a good show, and I feel like there's so much they could keep
it
doing
is.
with it.
But
Ugh.
last year, HBO said that they're working on like 5 different shows that are like in the same world of Game of
Yeah, I
Thrones.
did
So
hear
like,
that.
there's like one show
Yeah.
that's like coming soon. That's like 10,000 years like before a Game of Thrones. So who knows?
Oh,
Who knows
yeah.
what's gonna happen with
I
that?
just
You
I
know?
just love the characters. Like Tyrion Lannister is like my favorite. I
Yeah,
love him so much.
he's
Like
the best character, hands
he
down.
is. Every time I've thought he was gonna die, I have said, if he dies, I'm not watching the show anymore. They
I have a
killed him
real
off.
fear that
I'm
he will
done.
die at the end. Like
I
I have a real
know.
because George Martin said the ending is bittersweet. So I don't
Oh.
know. I have one
Mm.
character that I am confident that won't die, and that's Arya. Only because George
Oh
Martin's
yeah.
wife said, "If you kill
Yep.
Arya, I will divorce you." So I have a feeling that he actually won't. So
Yep. I could see it. I could
so
see
actually,
it.
because I don't want Arya to die. I don't know if there's
I
one
don't want
character
anybody who's left to die.
like is okay. Is there one character that you love that you, if it came down to everyone else dying, that you would let die?
Oh
That is
gosh.
I know that is a tough question. I'm sorry. I know.
I
I
don't
know.
want anybody to go.
Or who do you think
Okay,
might die?
this sounds bad, but Sansa. I'd be all right with Sansa
I'm
going,
the
I
same.
think.
Yeah, that makes
I
sense
think
to me.
I out of the sisters, she's the I like Arya better than Sansa. If I was gonna pick one over the other,
I think
because
everyone
Arya
feels
is
the same
such a
way, to be
badass.
honest. Oh, Arya's amazing.
She is a badass, and Sansa has become a badass also, but she's done a lot of annoying things. So,
Yeah.
if I had to pick between the two, I don't want either of them to die. I really don't. I don't want Jon Snow to die. I mean, he already died once. Let's leave him be.
Yeah, exactly.
And oh my gosh, what's the queen's name? I just lost it.
Cersei.
No, not her.
Sorry.
The
Daenerys.
yes, her. I don't want her to die. I don't think she will. I don't think that she will. I'd be okay with
No.
Cersei dying. She can go. Bye.
Oh, Cersei has to die. She's evil. She
Yes.
has to.
Yes.
But
I hope she goes, because I feel like a lot of the other evil characters have met their fate. They karma got them in the end. So. But they've killed off so many characters that I've loved. It's been, like whenever I tell somebody to watch Game of Thrones, I'm like, watch it, but don't fall in love with anyone,
no.
because they'll probably die.
Like which character death did you like? Which character death hit you the most out of
The
all of them?
most. Ooh. The Red Wedding was really, really hard.
I know.
Oh.
I know. The thing is, like,
When I think I was, when I watched that, I think I was like literally screaming at the TV, like, "What are you doing? No, no!" I mean, any of the Stark family, really, I really liked them, and it's like there's so few left now,
Yeah, there's like 4 of them left. Only 4.
Yeah. Oh, and whenever any of the dogs got killed, of course,
Oh,
I'm a huge
God,
dog lover,
no.
so whenever any of the, or whatever they call them, the
Direwolf.
what are they? Yeah, direwolf. That was the word I was looking for. And it's like,
painful.
obviously, I know in real life those dogs didn't die, but gosh darn it, don't
It's-
kill the dogs. Let
Thing is,
the dogs
exactly,
live.
exactly. Like with the Red Wedding, because I started watching it when season 4 ended. So when I watched it, someone ruined the
Oh,
Red Wedding for me. We are no longer
Aw.
friends. I haven't seen him in like 3 years, so it's fine.
That's a good reason to defriend someone, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't because of that, but part of me thinking, yeah, you really deserve it. But it did hit me hard. But I think the one I actually I straight up cried in front of all of my friends, like when we watched it, was Hodor's death.
Oh,
I
God,
think it
that
was so emotional and so clever.
Oh, yes.
I think
it was really
It
clever.
just really hit me hard, that one.
Yeah. Well, it was so sad. It was just so it was like heartbreaking, because he like went out, saving his friends, and
Yeah.
But I'm like you. I actually didn't start watching it from the beginning. My husband did, but I didn't. And he kept saying, you need to watch this show. And I was just like, because it's not really my genre of show
Mm.
normally, you know. But I was just like, I needed something to watch. So I decided to start it. And I was hooked very, very quickly,
Yeah.
you know.
It's a
And
HBO show. Like they're all amazing, you know.
Yes.
So
And I watched all the seasons that existed at that time. I think it was maybe 3 in like 2 weeks. Like I just devoured them because they were so good.
yeah.
And we have to wait so long in between. I usually have to rewatch it, before. In fact, I should probably be doing that now, is rewatching
Yeah, I've been meaning
the
to.
existing
There's
ones.
been so like I've been just watching like with Netflix. All I watch is just How I Met Your Mother on loop,
Uh-huh.
and The U.S. Office,
Yep,
and
I watched The
Friends.
Office. I was
Yeah,
actually just watching that right before I had to turn it off because when you called. So I
I'm
watched
so
that
sorry.
one
Like
all
I'm
the
sorry.
time.
Like The
No,
Office is
it's
very
okay.
good. Okay, like
Yeah.
The Office is more important. I'm telling you now.
Yeah. I honestly, I wish that my Netflix would tell me how many times I've watched each episode. I wish that was like a thing that it
There is
had
an app.
record of, because it'd be, is there really?
Yeah, if you download just like I don't know what it's called, just Google it and you sign in,
Okay.
it actually tells you how many hours you have watched everything that you've seen. So
Oh my gosh.
my
I mean,
How I Met Your
maybe that's
Mother
too much to know.
like How I Met Your Mother hours for me are that I can't. It's actually embarrassing how many times I just watch it on constant loop, and I
Yeah.
think it's like How I Met Your Mother, Friends. The US Office isn't on the UK Netflix, so I have the box set. So
Oh, okay.
but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Well, I don't like silence. So when I'm home during the day working, I always have something on,
same.
always.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah, and I here's the other thing. I really can't watch something new because I can't concentrate on painting and a show. So I end up just watching the same things over and over again. And The Office is my go-to always. Or Parks and Rec is another one. I
Oh
watch that
yeah.
one a lot.
I
Um,
think just The Office. It's just such a comfortable show to
yeah.
watch. You
Yes.
can watch it and do something else, but
Uh-huh.
you're still really
Right.
enjoying it because
Right.
it's just
It's
brilliant.
so funny. It's so funny. I still laugh. I still laugh at certain lines. And I still like when Jim and Pam, all their whole journey, I still like,
Oh,
it still makes my heart happy, or breaks my heart depending on the situation.
it's so
But
pure.
still, like I still watch it and go, "Aw," and I mean, I've probably seen every episode 100 times. My kids will come and be like, "You're watching The Office again?" They're
Oh,
like, there are other shows on Netflix, mommy. And I'm like,
no,
yeah,
this is the best
but
one.
this is the best one.
Like literally, because
Like there was a rumor they were going to take The Office off of Netflix, just not too long ago, just a couple, and I was like, oh no, you don't. And they ended up saying, no, we're not going to. And I was like,
I
Friends was another one they said that they were going to take
yeah,
off, but I guess they paid a bunch of money to keep it.
they were because there was like so many people just saying no. I'm still
Mm-hmm.
watching it. Like yeah,
Right.
because I think with the Friends thing, I think there are so many like people like who are now 13, 14 who are just now like watching it for the
Yeah.
first time, and then are
Yeah, I
seeing
agree.
it like it's out for the first time. So
Uh-huh.
um
It always makes me feel really old when it's on Nick at Night on Nickelodeon.
oh it's
I don't
like
know if do you guys have Nickelodeon
yeah we
in the
do,
UK?
but it's
Okay.
not a channel. But so
Oh,
well I
okay.
think it is, but you have to pay for or something. I don't know that.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, Nickelodeon used to be the only channel with kids programming. When I was a kid, it was the only channel that had all day long kids programming. So it was like all we watched. It was Nickelodeon. And then at night, they would show black and white reruns of like old shows that like were on when my parents were kids, like Dick Van Dyke and
Oh yeah,
the
yeah.
Lucy Show and that kind of stuff. So it felt like they were really old shows that they were showing on Nick at Night. And now they show Friends on Nick at Night.
That just
So it makes
that's
me
not a good
feel
feeling, is
really
it?
old.
Well, the thing is, like, I say that like 13 and 14-year-olds are just discovering it. I only started watching Friends 2 years ago. Like, I was
Oh,
really new
okay.
because
Yeah,
I was born in '98, so Friends was like halfway through then. So
sure. Yeah.
it's
So you were too young to watch it when it
yeah,
came
I
out.
think shows that I've watched from the start, I haven't watched. I don't know. There are some, but I can't name them. But I think everything, even like shows that I don't like now, like The Big Bang Theory, I was obsessed with that. I hate it now. I actually watch it and I think
Oh,
this is just bad, to be honest.
oh,
I,
is it just one of those shows that have gone on too long?
yeah, it's on its like 12th season. Like
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
I've watched bits and pieces of that, but I've never watched it.
I was obsessed
I
with
don't ever
it.
hear about it anymore. It used to be, it used to win all the awards
It
and,
did.
everything. And now I don't hear much about it anymore,
Yeah,
probably
the
because
final
they need to end
episode
it.
is in like 4 weeks time or something. Like
Oh,
the very last episode, but no one's talking about it because it's just gone downhill. But
yeah, that's
that's
too
all I
bad.
watched. But then I kind of like discovered How I Met Your Mother and like The Office, and then
Hmm.
I realized what good comedy and good TV shows were. So
Yeah. Have you watched Parks and Rec?
I haven't.
Have you...
No,
No, you need to watch it. I'm telling you, it's like The Office. It's like The Office, only a different setting, and it's brilliant. It's amazing. It's
is
so
that with
funny.
Chris Pratt in it? Is that with
Yes.
Chris Pratt?
Yes. Chris
I know
Pratt
the
and
one.
Amy Poehler, and oh my gosh, it has like I would say it's almost tied for my favorite show of all time with The Office because it's so good.
I'm just
It's
gonna
so
check
good.
if it's on
Yeah.
Netflix here because
Yeah, it's on Netflix here. I don't know if it is there, but here it is. And it is, I'm telling you, you need to watch it because it's so good. And it's so funny. It's so clever. It's just amazing. I love it so
yeah.
much.
Have you seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
I haven't. I haven't watched that one.
It's brilliant. It's really
Okay.
really good. I
I
only
just
bring that
saw
up.
I just saw that Lynn is going to be on that show.
Yeah,
I just saw that in my
yeah.
group
That's
like
why
not too
I
long
brought
before
up.
we called.
Yeah, because I saw that because it was going to be cancelled last year, but then Lynn, Mark Hamill, and like three other celebrities like tweeted about it and like made sure that it actually stayed on TV, and it
Oh,
did.
that's
Like
so
it wasn't
cool.
cancelled. So I think that's like because that's like the only thing that Lynn watches apparently. So I think that's
Oh,
like a
that's
really
so
nice
cool.
that like thank you to
Yeah,
get him on the show.
he's such an amazing human. He just really, really is. He
He's such
just I've
because
never met him in person, but
no,
just from afar, he just seems like just the best human being. Like just with like a huge heart and like when he bought the drama bookshop, like I mean,
that's
that is
incredible.
just incredible for him to just be like, listen, this is an amazing place and people need to experience it, so I'm going to buy it so that it doesn't disappear.
Really just
And
show
like
how
and that
passionate he
place
is
is
about it.
really, really cool bookshop, by the way. If you ever get to New York City
I'm actually
when
going
they
there
move.
in
Oh, you
August,
are? Oh,
just for a
that's so
day,
cool.
literally a 1 day trip to New York. So in
Oh,
August, so
that's so awesome.
I
You're gonna
actually
love
probably
it.
will.
It's an
Well,
amazing city to
I want
visit.
to live there in the future. That's my
Oh
ambition
yeah,
to actually
yeah.
live there because I want
I
to work in
love
theatre.
Oh, that's so
So
cool. It's such a fun city to visit. Personally, because I grew up in the Midwest, it's a little too busy for me, like
yeah,
for all the time. But I love visiting there. I feel like my heart is there, because of I love being amongst where the
it's just
theaters are,
arts
and
and culture.
yeah, and it's just such a diverse space, and it's very different from Nebraska. And like I said, it's a little too, I'm not sure busy is probably the word I need to use. It's a
Yeah,
little more busy than I would like for all the time because usually when I'm there for about a week, and by the end of the week I'm ready for like the quiet of here.
yeah. I don't
We don't
blame you.
have all the traffic and we don't have to walk everywhere. I can get in my car and drive wherever I need to go, and
Yeah, I'm the same here.
or use public. We don't have to use public transportation. So I usually am kind of just done with all of that and all the people on the streets. So that doesn't happen here.
I'm sure it's so loud there too.
Yeah.
Just
Oh, it
constant
is. It's crazy.
noise.
I usually stay at a hotel that's like a block or two off of Times Square, so it's really, really loud because of all of
Yeah,
there's so much traffic. And
that's
there
the
was
one
one
place I'm
time.
actually. Sorry, go on, go on.
Oh no, that's okay. Um, there was one time it was like a Saturday morning and I was sleeping, and it was real early, and all of a sudden I heard a band, like a marching band, and I was like, what is happening? It's Saturday morning. Why is there a marching band? And my husband told me later it was something with college football Saturday. That's why
Oh
there was the marching
no,
band in Times Square. There was a band playing for something on ESPN. And I was like, well, it woke me up at like 8. So shush, I'm
it is
trying to sleep.
it is the city that literally never sleeps. I'm sure.
It's so true. It's crazy how many people are like when you leave the theater, it's like 11:30 at night and it looks like it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon on the streets. It's just nuts. And like, here, if you were going to walk around, it'd be dead. It's, everything closes at like 9 o'clock.
Yep,
so
same here.
it's just so,
I'm
so
surrounded by
different.
farms and fields where I live,
Yeah.
so I have to drive to get into the city. But
Sure.
back to Lynn and like how much of like an inspiration he is. Because I saw Hamilton first time in August, and I saw it in London, and it's a 2-hour train journey back home to my city area. On the train home, I saw on Facebook that Lynn was actually in South Wales, like in Cardiff,
no.
like in my city, and I was like, why? Like he's in a BBC drama like coming out this year or next year, and I was like, oh my god, I just have to hang around Cardiff now and just hopefully bump into him. I was so like, I never thought I would like fangirl about anything in my entire life, like, but I think I was sat on that train, like my stalker eyes were like going, I was like, I have to try and casually bump into him in Cardiff. I think if there's any celebrity I would ever want to meet, it is him.
Yeah,
because I know like I told my parents that, and they said yes, but they always say never meet your heroes or like any celebrities, but I think with him it's completely, he's like, he just seems just a genuinely nice person to me.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
So, but he's in South Wales now, which is a shame, but it's just, but
a little further.
Just
well, he's never been here, so I've never had that chance in Nebraska. So, but there was one time when I was in New York that he was also there, and I kept my eyes peeled like you. I was like, when I'd walk down the streets, I'd be like, where is he? Where is he? But here's the thing. I don't think I would ever have the nerve to like walk up to him just on the street, and say hello.
I saw the guy who plays Ramsay Bolton in Game of Thrones.
Oh, that's so cool.
Because he lives in Cardiff. I saw him like 3 years ago walking down the street, and I was with some friends, and I stopped, and I just yelled, "It's Ramsay Bolton!" And he saw me. And they said, "Oh, go up to him and say hi." I didn't. I couldn't. I already scared him by just shouting Ramsay Bolton,
right.
And then I had no nerve to, because one, I was nervous, but also two, like part of me was like, I don't want to just like irritate him, like he's like going about his day.
Right.
There's
right. I agree. Too. It was like, I feel like there's a difference between meeting somebody at a stage door or at a fan based or like backstage or something like that. There's something different about that, going up to somebody versus just seeing them in their natural habitat. They're just trying to be a normal human being walking down the street, going to the grocery store or whatever. And I think there's just a huge difference there. And I never want to be that person that's going to like bother somebody.
No, because I could easily be like a crazy stalker fan type thing. I entered a competition just thinking that I would never win for the world premiere of Aquaman, and I actually won 2 tickets. So I actually went to so it was a brilliant film, and I was literally 3 feet away from Jason Momoa, and I just kind of turned around, and he was there, like having his photo taken, and I just stood there. I literally froze. And I was staring at him, and like to my friends, like, look, it's Jason Momoa. And then literally some security guy ran at me and said, just go, get inside the theater. I was like, well, okay, calm down. Like,
you're like, I'm not gonna do anything.
I didn't know what to do. I didn't even wave. I just froze, and I stared, and I smiled at him because I was so starstruck, because he's like, and he's huge. Like, apparently he's 6'4". I'm 6'4" too. I still don't believe that we are the same height, because he's huge. Like, he looks like he's just like a giant to me. He's a demigod. You literally he's so big, but apparently I'm the same height as him. I still do not believe it, and I still refuse to think like he is. No, he's massive. I'm tiny.
When I saw Be More Chill in New York when it was off Broadway,
that's another one from my list on things to see. Like, there's so many shows to see.
Oh, there are so many. Right before the show started, James Franco sat right in front of me.
No.
And he walked in, and I was like, oh, that's James Franco. I was like, and I couldn't, the show is literally starting, so I couldn't even like text my friends or anything.
Tap him on the shoulder.
Yeah, hi. And like, I didn't say anything to him because he got up during intermission to go to the bathroom. I don't know where he went. He got up and he came back, and I actually snagged just a picture of him, like on, just stealthily took a picture before he sat down so I could send it to my friends and be like, and then as I did it, Darren Criss walked by, like, and said hello to him, and I was like,
Oh
oh
my
my
God.
God, also Darren Criss is here, so that's insane. And then I actually got invited backstage after the show by one of the producers, and I got to meet Darren Criss back after the show,
That's
and
amazing.
he was so nice. Let me tell you, you know what you said, your parents said, never meet your heroes. I'm always so happy when I find out that somebody I admire is actually a good person and they're kind to fans and kind to the people that admire them, and he truly was. Like we just kind of ended up in the same circle, and I told him I tried not to act like an idiot, and because inside I was going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, because I'm a
I'd be just, yeah, absolutely.
huge Glee fan. um and yeah, I told him what a fan I have of him, and I asked for a picture, and he was so sweet and so nice, and it was just a crazy evening. And I'm so glad we happened to be at the same show at the same time, so that I got to meet him, because I don't know when else I would have got
That's
to
like
meet
the
Darren Criss.
perfect
But
line.
yeah,
That's like, this, like, the universe just comes together at some point and that
yes,
happens.
yes,
Coming
right,
to, like, you were invited backstage. I've seen lots of photos on your Instagram on how you
yeah,
were, like, backstage at Hamilton, like, after the show, with,
hmm,
like, giving the stars their Funko Pops. Are
yeah,
you invited, like, because of your page, and
yeah,
you're well known for that? Is that what that
yeah,
is? That's
yep.
that's amazing. That is. I
That's
think
pretty much what has happened, and it's so cool. It never gets old going and hanging out on a Broadway stage. It's always really fun, and everybody I've met has been so nice and appreciative. And let me tell you, like, there's another layer to the fact that Hamilton is amazing. The people that are in that show are incredible human beings. All of them. Every single one I have ever met has been amazing. Just, I can't say enough good things about them. They're humble, they're appreciative, they're so just unbelievable people. The first time I went backstage at Hamilton, I was invited by one of the this understudies that I had given a pop to, and he took me backstage, and like that was my first time there, so I was kind of meeting all these people I had given pops to, and they like hung around after the show to come meet me, and they treated me like a celebrity. And I was like, okay, I'm not, but that you guys are all amazing. And like Donald Webber ran up to his dressing room to get his pop so I could sign it for him. And I'm like, that is like something
that's
that I
amazing.
never would have expected to happen in my lifetime, to have someone in a Broadway show want my autograph. Like, what? Like, I left that night and I was just like on cloud nine, because I couldn't believe that whole evening even happened. And I kept having to like replay every second in my head so I didn't forget any of it. Like I didn't want to forget any single moment of it, because it was so incredible. And uh that every time I go backstage at Hamilton, it's now I've been backstage several times, and now it's just kind of like seeing my friends, and we're not friends, but it feels like that, because
I
they're
think
so kind to me, and they're like, Amber, hey, and they come give me hugs and we hang out, and they're they're just so nice and so incredible and amazing people.
I think I think that's just made me smart, because I think just from you, like, this has traced back from you taking that massive risk of leaving your
Hmm.
job, which takes a lot of guts, and then you're
Yeah.
suddenly backstage of Hamilton with these with these stars asking for your autograph. I think if
Yeah.
I was you, I would not know what to do in that situation. I'd be like, why do you want my autograph? Like, I'd have no
Yeah,
clue what to
that's
say.
kind of how I felt.
Like,
I was just like, oh, okay, like because Donald, I had sent Donald his pop in the mail, and then we met, and he's like, are you gonna be here for a minute? I was like, well, yeah, I'm not planning to leave anytime. I
I'm
was like,
never
I'm not
leaving
quite
this
ready to leave.
stage.
Right, I will stay here as long as I'm allowed. And he's like, let me run up to my dressing room. I want you to sign my pop. And I was like, and I kept my cool. I've learned how to sort of keep my cool on the outside most of the time. But inside I was like freaking out,
It's
because I was
alarm
just like,
bells going.
yeah, like this is crazy. This is insane. And like I don't know, when I left there, I was just like I was almost gonna like fall over, because it was so like not something I would have ever expected to happen at all. But yeah, it's really cool. I just can't say enough good things about the people in that show. They're all so amazing. They're all just the best people.
I think just wow, like, that's all I can really say to that. I
Yeah.
said, like, because I think, I I think that's how big your business is now, and I can only see it going up and up and up. I
Well,
genuinely
I hope so.
I honestly I think it's only just started really. Like,
Yeah,
do your kids? Do they love a theatre and shows and all that? Do they love
they
it?
do. Yep. So my husband is not a theater guy. He'll go to shows with me, but it's not his favorite thing.
Hmm.
He's like he likes football and hockey and
Yeah.
sports and all that, which I don't like. So we kind of have
Same.
that opposite
Yeah.
thing going on.
Sports is not my thing at all.
No, not mine either. So I kind of when my kids were really little, I listened to musical theater in the car almost exclusively. That's pretty much all we listen to in the car. So they know all the words to all the shows that we listen to. And we started going to shows when they were really little. And so I always say, back then I didn't have any theater friends in real life, so I raised my own. I raised my own theater friends because I wanted to have somebody to take to the theater with me. So my middle daughter, she's gonna actually her birthday's tomorrow. She turns 11
Oh,
tomorrow.
happy birthday
Um,
to her.
yeah. When she was 2, she was obsessed with Phantom of the Opera and Les Miserables, and she would
Uh,
watch the movies over and over and over. And when she was 2, and she knew all the words to all the songs when she was 2 years old. So she's my biggest theater geek. All three of them are, but she's my biggest theater geek. She's also a dancer. She wants to be on Broadway someday. And she has been obsessed with theater since, basically since she could talk. So
I
I
think
just
that's
think
brilliant
it's
because
so cool. And here's the thing, when I was little, my parents took my sister and I to shows all the time, mostly like regional community theater, high school productions, but we were always going to see something. So I kind of wanted to do that for my kids too, because it was so important for me when I was little. I wanted that to be something that they experienced, and
yeah,
all three of them love it now. And my son he's 8, so he's just now, kind of getting to where he can sit through a long like a bigger production. I feel like I can spend the money for him to go. I'm going to take him to see School of Rock here
oh, that's the perfect
sometime in the
show to
next couple
see.
months. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think he'll really like that.
because
And last
theatre is so
summer,
important. I think
it is.
especially
It
for
really is.
especially for kids. I think
Yes.
because when I was younger, like on holidays, my parents they would always play The Sound of Music. To me,
Oh
I
yeah.
think, or like Mary Poppins. I think, but The Sound of Music especially. That's what I remember hearing
Yep.
the most. And I've always liked theatre, but I think ever since listening to Hamilton, that kind of just boosted it massively.
Yeah.
Now I'm obsessed,
Yeah.
but so.
Yeah.
But I think that's the School of Rock. That's like the perfect show for an 8-year-old boy.
Yeah. I think so too. I've taken him to we saw Peter Pan at a regional theater here. We have a theater called the Rose Theater that is a really great theater for kids. They're really geared toward kids and families. So
Yeah.
they do a lot of shows that are, you know, kid friendly and family friendly. So I took him to see Peter Pan and he loved it. And he's wanted to see something else since then. I just wanted to wait for him to be, old enough to sit through a bigger production to take him. But I think School of Rock is the perfect show. I think he'll really like that. And
Absolutely.
he likes the music. We listen to the music in the car, and like I said, that's all we listen to in the car. Whenever I'm taking them anywhere, that's what we listen to. And they'll say, "We want to listen to this show today." They love Come From Away. They love The Prom. They love Hamilton.
Oh, I need to
Um,
listen to I Come From
yeah.
Away. I've heard so many
Yes.
good things about it.
Oh, it's
I
so amazing.
need to
So
listen to
good.
this.
Yes.
I
So
have
good.
such a long list of
I
shows
know.
to see and also listen to. Like
I
there's
know.
just a
Same.
long. It just never ends. There's always something new
I
coming out.
There's
That's
always
just gonna be
something. Well,
amazing.
and there's so many new shows coming up here that I want to see. In New York, there's so many good new things that are opening that I'm like, well, I want to see that and that and that and that.
Yeah.
And it's good for me because then it keeps me inspired, for my work. It's good I feel way more inspired to make new pops and pins and everything else when I actually see the show and like feel it. And it's so much easier for me to make something that I'm familiar with and that I love.
Yeah, I think that's also
Then
another brilliant thing. Like there's always a new show coming out,
yeah,
which means
yeah,
like which means Broadway goes pop will essentially never end because there's
right,
always something new coming
yeah,
out that you can make.
yeah,
I think that's what's
right. And
brilliant,
that's something that like when I was trying to decide to make that scary leap, like, okay, because back then most of my pops were Hamilton, and it was like, okay, well, what if Hamilton fizzles out? And first of all, I was kind of like, I don't think Hamilton's going to fizzle out. I mean, eventually it probably won't be as big as it is now, but I think
No.
that's like years and years down the road. Like I picture Hamilton being like Phantom of the Opera, like in the theater for 30 years. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
I just picture it being that way.
And there's
But
also going to be like
I
a massive
said,
film too,
yeah,
guaranteed,
oh
like
yeah,
two
for
movies
sure,
guaranteed.
for sure. And I said that to my parents. They said, well, here's the thing. Even if Hamilton fizzles, even if that happens, there'll be something new. There's always something new. There's always a new show to be obsessed with, and everybody has their favorites. There's a cult following for just about every show you can think of. You know, like look at Be More Chill. That show had a cult following when it wasn't even on Broadway.
It has like it was such a big online presence, and
yes, insane.
I was just like thinking, what is this show?
I know,
And then
same
I
here.
realized, wow, okay, like people are really obsessed with this, because
Yes.
I think Be More Chill is coming to London, or like it's already, I don't know, because I know
Yeah, I'm
that
not sure.
Waitress has just come here, and
Yeah.
I do want to see that, and then there's Dear Evan Hansen, which is my
Mm-hmm.
favorite, like out of all of them, so that's my main
Yeah.
focus on seeing.
Yeah. I don't blame you. It's a
But
good one.
I do want to see Heather's again, but it was only in the West End for like 6 months. And now
Yeah,
it's
that
gone,
one
but
also has a huge cult following.
yeah.
Huge following. I've never seen it. I don't know anything about it. I've made the pops for it, but I haven't seen that one or haven't listened to the music either.
It's
So,
amazing music, like because like it was a film like in the 80s
right.
before,
Yeah, I
which
remember the film. I
I
don't know if
never
I've
even
ever
heard of
seen it,
it.
but I know of it.
I never heard of the film until the show. Like I heard the
Hmm.
music and I was like, oh, it's a film, okay, but I'd never heard of it. But
Yeah.
it's very good, really funny as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, I've heard that. And I just think it's crazy what of course social media helps with all of that so much, you know, having that
It
because
does.
when I started, people would be like, "Are you going to make Be More Chill?" And I was like, "What is that?" I'd never even heard of it. I didn't know anything about it. And then I happened to be able to, like I said, catch it when it was off Broadway. They added an extra week of performances, and that was the week I was going to be in New York. So I snagged a ticket, and I it was really crazy because my friend messaged me and she's like, they're adding a week, go get your ticket now, because she knew I was upset. I was just going to miss it.
Hmm.
And so I snagged a ticket, and then they were like sold out like shortly after that. So I got really lucky that I happened to grab a ticket to the show, and I
And how was
really
it?
really liked it. It's really good. It's so funny. It's a little bit like Dear Evan Hansen, but not, if
Just
that's
yeah,
it's like,
because I haven't listened
it's
to
like
the
the
music
awkward.
yet.
Yeah, it's like an awkward teenager thing. You know, it's similar but different. You know,
Hmm.
it's not Dear Evan Hansen by any means, but it's similar to Dear Evan Hansen. And
It
I
sounds like
hadn't
something that
listened
I
to
would
music or
love.
anything
So
going in, so it was different than I thought it was going to be, but also really really good.
I
And
think that's a good
George,
thing, though. I think
yeah,
going into a show with it, because before I saw Hamilton, for example, I had listened to that soundtrack 1,000 times, like
yep,
endlessly.
same.
But I think part of
Uh-huh.
me thought it would have been nice to see it with knowing nothing and then listening to
Yeah.
music and then seeing it again. But
Uh-huh.
but either way,
Yeah.
it's
I
still brilliant.
It's still right. And George Salazar, as Michael, he's just astoundingly good. He's just so, like, Michael in the bathroom. Now that I've said it, that song will be in my head the rest of the day. I mean, it's just, if you can pick a song to listen to before you get to see it, listen to Michael in the bathroom, because and there's videos all over of him singing it too. So if you go on YouTube, like he sang it on some different shows, and they did like a press preview not too long ago
Oh
of
yeah.
him singing that. So that he's just amazing. And I actually got to meet him at Broadway Con, and I've met him a couple other times, but at Broadway Con it was even more amazing, because I actually happened to have the Michael Mel pop out that day at my booth, and I
And
don't
then
know how he knew it was there, but he came like running down because he was at a booth signing at Broadway Records. He was like a few booths down signing autographs, and he comes running down to see it. And he was so excited, and it was just crazy. And like we took pictures, and he was like, "How can I get one of these?" And I was like, "Well, I'll make you one. Of course, I'll make you one." Like
that's brilliant.
obviously.
I
So
think that
he
shows
was,
that
and
your
yeah, he
your
was,
customers they are literally Broadway fans and Broadway stars. Like you
yeah,
literally because I think that's brilliant how they're excited
yeah,
about having a pop made from
hmm
them. I think, and then wanting
yeah,
you to sign them. I'd be the
yeah,
same if I was on Broadway. That's
yeah.
brilliant.
and he posted on his Instagram, and I messaged him thanking him for posting it, and we had just a very short conversation, but I messaged my friends, and I'm like, so I just had a little text conversation with George Salazar. That was pretty crazy. I'll save that conversation forever and ever, because he was so nice, and he's again, just a very humble guy and very sweet, and just just a really good person, and I actually have a friend who's friends with him in quote unquote real life. And she says that's just how he is. Like, he's enjoying this ride so much. And I just think that's so great to hear that.
Yeah.
And I honestly can't really think of too many Broadway people that I have heard they're just like a jerk. I think I say that all the time. Theater people are good people. They really are.
That is true, because I think because it's a live show, I think that means you are constantly interacting with the audience, and then other countries, like you hear like so many like movie stars, they're always, that they're always arrogant or something because they're filming on set, and then they go to their trailer or something. I think theatre stars, they're always interacting with someone, so I think you have to be sociable and excited.
Right. And so many of them go to the stage door, interact with fans that way. And
people love that. I love that,
Yeah. Oh, I love the stage door. And the other thing is I always end up, I'm a chatty person, obviously, but I always end up talking to the people around me at the stage door, because a lot of times I'm there by myself. So I end up talking to people and meeting theater fans at the stage door. So I think that's just a fun experience. Last summer, I took my daughters to New York City. It was actually their Christmas gift, and we saw 11 Broadway shows in a week. And we stage doored. Yeah, it was amazing. It was the best week of my life. Like, honestly, it was so fun. We had so much fun. We were so tired when it was over, but
just constantly
it was
going
so fun. And we stage doored every single show that we went to. I remember after we saw SpongeBob, it was really hot because it was summer, and the girls were really tired, and they were like, oh, I don't know if we want to. And I was like, I think we're going to regret it if we don't. Let's just try it. And we did. And it was hot, and we were all tired, but I was glad we went, and did the stage door. There was a lot of people though, so it was kind of crazy, but that was really cool to have them, to allow them to experience all of that too, because they would, they were always important. Yeah. And they're always so jealous when I get to go to New York and they have to stay home. And so it was fun to say, now you get to go too. So that was really cool. And they got to see Hamilton, and they got to go backstage at Hamilton. So that was really cool too. My oldest said it was the best night of her life when we went to Hamilton, because the cast members were so sweet to my daughters. They were just amazing. Of course, like I said before, they're just so incredible.
Yeah, because I think there's just something, even from like your daughter's like view, something from a young age. I think theatre is, like even like theatre fans, there's no fan base like it.
It's so true.
I think, and like I think there's nothing like live theatre.
Yeah,
because I think
agree.
Even films, people watch films, but there's less discussion about it. I think after seeing a live show, that's all you talk about on the way home. After like seeing a movie, you'll say, yeah, that was good, and then you talk about something else. I've never seen a show and not talked about it for hours after. I think there's something about it.
Right. Or I go home and download the cast recording and listen to it nonstop, like with The Prom. And that's what happened with Mean Girls too. When I saw Mean Girls, I, went home and immediately bought the cast recording and listened to it nonstop for like
the soundtrack's
4 months. Yeah. It's such a good show.
Mean Girls is I love it.
Yeah.
Which I never
hope
thought,
that one.
Because I think there's some shows that you say, even like the SpongeBob musical. I haven't listened to the soundtrack, but I saw the Tony performance. I thought there's a SpongeBob musical. I saw that performance. I was like, that works. Like, I think they've like with all those colors and not taking yourself too seriously. I think that that it did work.
When I heard they were making a SpongeBob musical, I was like, oh no, why?
Yeah.
Because I was too old for SpongeBob when it came out. Like that
I never watched SpongeBob.
The only time I ever saw it was when my kids watched it, and I thought it was obnoxious. So I was like, when I heard they were doing the musical, I was like, ugh, and I didn't think I'd ever see it. But then everybody saw it. Other people saw it and talked about how good it was and how fun it was, and I was like, so that was one of the shows I saw with my daughters, and we all loved it. It was so fun, and it had a really good, several good messages within the show for everybody, and the costuming was incredible, and the set was really, like you said, with all the colors and just so much going on, and it was really, really well done. I was actually shocked when it closed because it had such a following and such a huge fan base. And I know it's going to tour, but it's sad that they closed it on Broadway because it was really, really well done.
Yeah. I think touring is brilliant, but I think if a show can stay on Broadway and tour, I think that's that's what it's really made. But sadly, not every show can.
Right.
But about Broadway goes pop. We're going to close up because I don't want to take up too much of your very, very busy
you're fine.
time. You're fine. Because just what is your favorite pop to actually make, or like musical pop to make? Like what's your personal favorite?
I get asked that question a lot.
I'm sure you do. It's my first time. I'll try.
Yeah. No. I wasn't. No, it's fine. I just say, like, people ask me that question all the time, and it's so hard for me to pick a favorite because I love them all for different reasons, if that makes sense. Like, like, oh, I loved making this one because this person was so excited, or, what have you. I will always love Greencoat Hamilton because he was my first.
Yeah.
So, and I just think he's the cutest. I just think he's so cute.
I think that is the one I've had my eye on for ages. I think that's I think that's the first one I saw. I think that is the one I actually will be buying. So expect a shipment to the UK soon.
And then I would say the Osaka pop that I made from Once on This Island, I was super, super proud of that one. I couldn't stop staring at her. I was actually really sad when I had to send it out to the customer that I made it for because
it's so nice. You just want to keep it.
Yeah, I really wanted. She was a lot of work, but I really liked the way it turned out, and she was a lot of work, but also really fun to like figure out the flowers on her headpiece, and the detail on the skirt, and there's a lot to that costume, so I wanted it. Details are really important to me, so I try as much as I can to get all the details in, whether it be like a certain bracelet that the character's wearing, or the pattern of their shirt, or what have you. I try to include everything that I possibly can with paintbrushes, which is not always the easiest thing. But I think that's why I like Osaka so much, is because she had so much detail. And when I was done, I had her on my desk for a long time, and I was like dreading working on that headpiece because it was all the the flowers and the the foliage on her headpiece. And I finally, just this one night, I was like, okay, I'm not going to bed until this is done. I'm just going to stay up until this is done. And I finished it at like 2:30 in the morning, but I finished it, and that was the important thing. She was done. And I was really, really proud of what came out. So I would say, if I was going to pick two, I can never just pick one. If I was going to pick two that were my favorite, I would say Greencoat Hamilton because he was first, and then Osaka. But then I have so many others. Like, I could sit and talk about them for ages. But if I had to pick, one or two, that's the two that I would pick for sure.
Well, I think that's because I'm just amazed on how, because even when I first got obsessed with Hamilton, you said that you thought, you Googled like if anyone had made Hamilton pops. I did the exact same thing. I literally went on the Funko Pop website and I searched Hamilton. I actually thought the same thing once I got obsessed with it, and I was really let down that they didn't exist. And then I think like a year later, I started Geek Chat, and then I joined the your group. I was like, okay, where has this been my entire life? Seriously. So,
I'm actually surprised they haven't caught on to that yet. No, but that's fine. That's okay.
You got there first, and I think it worked out much better for you than some massive company. So I think that's much more important. So thank you so much for taking up your very busy time. Like, I'm trying to get words out. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to
of course,
talk to me about this. Is there anyone that you want to give a shout out to, or just say hi to?
Oh man, I could probably sit here and shout out people all day long.
Go for it.
I mentioned my moderators before, but let me mention them by name. Sydney, Laura, David, and Jeremy. They are the best moderators on the planet, and also, like I said, some of my best friends. And like when I go to New York, we see shows together and we hang out, and it's amazing. So I would say those four, they're like treasures in my life for sure. And I truly couldn't do what I do without them. And then of course, all 14,000 people in Broadway Goes Pop also are in,
Absolutely.
like
As
a
a
massive
happy
amount
member,
of,
yes, hello
yeah,
to all of you guys.
yes, yeah. So I love them all so much. And I said before, they're like my family, and another group of people. I would not be anything without them. So they are the most supportive people in my life, honestly. Like they're just the best. When I'm having a bad day, that's where I go. I'll say, oh, this happened, and I feel like I have hugs from around the world from them, and it's just amazing. So I would say those are the people for sure that I need to shout out.
Brilliant, because that group is truly amazing. Honestly,
It really
like
is. It really
I'm
is.
not just saying that because you're here. I honestly love this group. Like I think
Yeah, yeah.
it is just the best. But I think you're such an inspiration to so many, and I think anyone listening to this a podcast, thank you for listening for this long. And I think if there's anything that you could take away, like Amber really did take a very brave and risky leap, but I think it's changed everything for you. What would you say?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It was definitely a life-changing leap, and I would never ever do it differently if I could do it over again. Like I love what I do. I don't wake up and dread going to work. I can't wait to get to work. And sometimes I have to, if my kids have stuff going on, it's like, okay, I got to stop working to go, to go do the mom thing. Because sometimes if I'm on a roll, I hate putting down my paintbrushes and stopping what I'm doing to do other things.
Yeah,
So,
it's that
but yeah,
artistic flow that you just want to keep
so
going.
true.
Yeah.
Yep, so true. So, yep, that I wouldn't change it for anything.
Well, thank you so much for
Yes,
coming on.
thank you. Thank you for having me.
One more thing. Do you want to
Yeah.
just mention your social media, like
Oh, sure.
Facebook
Yeah.
and Instagram? Go for
Yeah.
it.
Instagram, you can follow me it's just at Amber Kempter, which is AmberKempter. I think you can also search Broadway Goes Pop and you'll find me, but that's my handle. On Facebook, it's just Broadway Goes Pop. And if you click join, then one of the moderators will approve you right away, and you'll be part of the amazing community that we just talked about. And the website is BroadwayGoesPop.com.
Brilliant. And so thank you so much, Amber. And I hope
thank you so much for
let
having
you,
me.
get back to making some truly amazing theatre pops.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for having me again. I'm truly honored to be the first guest. It was really fun.
Well, thank you very much. And don't forget, guys, to follow Offline Broadway on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And I'm sure there's something else out there. And also a Geek Chat with the username It's Geek Chat, because Geek Chat was taken. So thank you very much for listening. And we'll see you on the next episode of Offline Broadway with Charlie Munn from Theatre is Dead.